Well, hello, my lovelies. Here again, just waiting for narrative to come along. When you hear narrative, let me know, and I'll put the link in the live chat. Hello, Kelsey. Hello, Welsh girl. Hello, darlings. Hello, Jeff. So it's all been exciting, hasn't it? It's all been exciting on this side of YouTube. It's all been exciting. Oh, here we are. I'll put it in there now for your narrative. It's all been exciting what's happening, but I noticed this narrative has had to run in with an old nemesis, or I should say, I mean, his nemesis, John Wedger. And so, what's John Wedger's video? And he can talk some sense, but there's always some underlying and disturbing narrative, shall I put it that way, going on, or he's trying to get himself to be famous, but he slips up all the time. Are you, John? Well, Craig, just let's see. There we go. Now I'll put you on. There we go. See, we're so pretty.
How you doing, man?
All right.
I've ordered that off Amazon, man. Beetlejuice, the film. That's what it reminds me of your makeup there a little bit.
It does, doesn't it? But you know who it was supposed to be? It was supposed to be, what's his name? Oh, God, I can't remember his blatant name. Let me entertain you.
Robbie Williams.
Robbie Williams. Yeah, it was supposed to be Robbie Williams. Yeah. But, and I did it
anyway,
quite well,
actually. That's besides the point.
That's it. See, and I got the makeup. You see, you can tell away from the theatre. My makeup there is exactly like he has got. It's in the
It is, yeah. I don't think of that, though.
Exactly the same. So, anyway, had your video about a person I haven't spoken about for a long time because he went quiet and was just basically going around talking about Madeleine McCann and other things he can pretend that he's an expert on because he used to be a CID officer, even though he never actually worked on the cases he was talking about.
I just left my opinion. I just left a comment. It was just my opinion. I don't expect that. I don't expect it. I just left my opinion, and it wasn't that bad. I don't even swear, I don't think, or anything at him. Just called him a grifter, man.
Yeah. The truth
and
is,
I told him to go away, and then he comes back with that. So I had to make a video on that, man. But,
well, what he did the first time I had to run in with him was I was just on Twitter, and but it was called Twitter, and people were talking about him. And I suddenly saw him on Sean Atwood's, and I thought, this is rubbish what he's talking. I thought, nobody was going on that everyone knows in the police force about these satanic temples and all this. I thought, that's rubbish. Never in my whole time at Merseyside. And we used to meet all kinds of officers from the Met from all over the country. Never did anyone start saying there was a problem with satanic temples or Satanists hiding away. And it would have been in what they call the area commander orders if there was concerns about safety for children from anyone.
It's happened in America as well.
Well, he was going on like that. And so I said to Sean, I said, you know what Sean said? I've never spoken to Sean Atwood before then. I said, he's talking loads of khaki. I said, I've never heard all this nonsense he's coming up with. And then he was on, someone was on, I think it was Twitter, yeah, and they said about money. He'd done 2 charities. This was early on when he was just starting to come out and campaign. And he'd done these 2 charities for youth clubs. And they got, I think it was, 2,000 or something. I might be exaggerating here. It was something like 2,000 each they got or something like that. But this person reckoned he'd got close to 10,000. So they were asking him, where did the excess 5,000 go? Well, I thought I'll ask him. I didn't really know him at this point, only that he was saying these bizarre things. So I said, where did this money go, John? Emailed him. And like you said, you got a really out of the way, unwanted, snotty reply. I got a really snotty reply off him. Not saying I'll explain it yet. More or less, and he's very arrogant. He won't be told. And he wasn't going to explain it. And then was suggesting that because I was daring to ask him, I must be a Satanist myself.
Oh, my
and
God.
That's when I went on it. I thought, right, I've got my bleeding head down, ready to go and look into this fella. And when I started looking into him, I started finding out that
Well, you
really,
remember that church group he was part of, and it was all dodgy. I forgot the
oh yeah,
name of it now. It had like some
and
church in the name. They like
the Jesus Army, wasn't it?
that.
And
That's it.
they
Jesus
had to be
Army.
closed down, didn't they? Because of the offences towards kitties and things like that. It was
Yeah.
a dangerous place to be. So I wasn't surprised by him
All right,
being
people.
involved in that. But he started getting big following, which he did, an absolutely massive following with this nonsense. And it just got more and more bizarre as it was going on. And it got more dirty as it was going on. It got more sordid. And he'd talk about
Oh,
things
God.
online which no one should be talking about. And when I say talking about, I mean graphic detail. Really, and don't forget, this is all fantasy he's talking about. So it's coming out of his imagination, which is even more worrying. He's never proved that these rituals he's talking about and describing. And do you remember he went on to a Craig? Do you remember? I don't know whether you remember. He started doing this. What was it? A mug of tea or a cuppa with John Wedge.
No, view with the broom, man.
Yeah,
You know where he
you with
stood on top of the building trying to get
so
donations, basically.
trying to get donations, and that's where he was trying to get. He got the donations, for the night fishing goggles, which were 500 each.
Yeah, I've heard
And there
that.
was,
Go
I
on.
think that some American gave him, I think it was 10,000 or 20,000, I can't remember, pounds donated to him. Nothing ever came of these things that he was raising money for. Nothing. He never went on these hunts or anything. And
I wouldn't just call him a grifter out the blue. Like, this is like many stories over many years that I've heard. Like, I wouldn't just pluck it out the air, like, as soon as I see him. So,
oh yeah,
this is what I mean. I've heard like loads of stories about him, man.
he's a very dubious character, very strange character, and we won't be able to go into fully in this show. Well, I wouldn't describe what he went into, but he went into these
He was
vile
deep
things.
with Brian Harvey and Bill Maloney, man. With the Andrew Ash, he was deep involved with that.
Yeah.
So
now you got to be careful with Brian Harvey. As you know, I've had runs in with Brian Harvey. Now Brian Harvey reckons people are in this conspiracy, worldwide conspiracy, and he's someone very important. That for some reason we're all together working with. Apparently, I work for the Queen, and we're all, or when the Queen was alive, we were all out to get him because he's this amazing person that needs to be brought down. I mean, would you go to all this effort? You just take him out if you were part for a thing. So you can't. When John Wedger says he's talking crap, I take it that John Wedger is right in that instance. He's talking crap. It's just conspiracy. Everyone's out to get me. No, stop the drugs.
but that's true. Some of that's true with Andrew Ash, man. He's got the evidence and stuff. So
Andrew Ash, but John Wedger wasn't.
And John Wedger was involved in it, man. He was the one giving him a lift there and stuff like that.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean he was involved in any conspiracy. I'll give him that much. I don't think he
He's
was.
best mates with Bill Maloney, and he won't even say a bad word about Bill Maloney now. After
I
that,
know.
Where's Andrew Ash now? I mean, Carl Beach, like, look what happened with him, man. And Andrew Ash was saying the same kind of things.
Well,
so he has got a point. Brian Harvey has. It seems like that was a test case, that Andrew Ash thing, before they did the Carl Beach thing, to discredit any other victim that come forward.
Well, I don't know. I don't think it was.
That's my view on it. That's my opinion.
I know, but I don't think that it's because the thing is, right? It's too. How can I put it? It's too detective novel. You know, that way it fits together too well, and also, it starts falling apart. I mean, how do you explain? I mean, I'm definitely not. I was never employed by the Queen. That's for sure. Now, you can also explain the fact that now he's friendies with Ian.
It was all Hempstead. What was it now? That thing? The Satanic Panic. Like, that's when it all come about, eh? Do you remember that, like, Guidance 2222? That guy who did that. He was actually on that documentary, man, what the Channel 4 did. You know, when they got the mothers. Have you watched that?
Oh, I haven't watched it, but I know all about the case. I can remember it happening.
Now all the mums, man, of them kids that they was accusing, man, that they tell their stories. It's really good, and like that guidance is on there saying, "Oh, do you eat babies?" and stuff like that. That's when like John Wedger come into prominence around that kind of time, mate.
Yeah,
Like,
because it was in his remit to get his fame. Because I used to always say, if you want to get John Wedge's attention, this is when he used to have loads of people hanging on his way. Now people have just drifted away from him. But if you want to get his attention, just put, "Oh, I think John Wedge should be given a knighthood," and he'd tweet that out, and he'd be all tweeting it everywhere. And that said a lot to me.
yeah,
He
yeah.
was that recognition. But then what happened was he suddenly got round the table with the Met because he was going to sue them for God knows what. And there was some deal struck, and suddenly the SRA and the Met and all this business has all been dropped like a hot potato by him.
Yeah.
So even God's messengers have got the price by the looks of it.
I mean, even the fact his message, his comment back to me tells you it's all money, eh? Civil court. It's just money. Or money is the root of all evil, as the Bible says. So what's he doing, man? You know what I mean?
Just Craig, give us 1 second to me
Yeah,
neighbours.
no worries, man.
Thing.
Yeah, all right, PP. All right, Swinger. All right, Welsh girl, man. Respect, PP. Kelsey. All right, Kelsey. You don't like me, do you? Who else is there? Hey, that thing is Mrs. Chegs. Yeah, I hope he gets a reduced one, man. Free Decker. I don't think Decker should be in for what he's in for, to be fair.
Sorry about that. Just my neighbour had a parcel for, and she just rang the doorbell. So, where were we up to?
I don't know.
Oh well, I must have been interested.
Stuff.
Yeah, it must have been interesting if you forgot that quick. Yeah,
yeah. It was about. It was. I was wondering. Kelsey's thing. Yeah, is Chegs Mrs.
I don't know. Are you Kelsey? Are you Chegs Mrs.? Sure. Are you Chegs Mrs.? Gotcha. Poor Cheg. Oh, poor Cheg. They've got him rotting away in a.
She's Kelsey.
She's
because she's like because he got these little things stick in my head. I don't know why. You know, like Bobby when he does his granddad thing with Granddad Cheg. She's like Granddad Cheg's moderator.
I know, and you know what? This is the thing. I don't want to get into it because she's been told she does not offer to moderate from anyone else without my express permission. See this? She's willful. Oh, I tell you, she's willful. She's one of these, she actually dares to do things that she wants to do without asking me first whether it's permissible or not. But one has to. She's a good moderator. And I must give this to Kelsey. Kelsey gets this on every show. Here we go. This is for you, Kelsey. There we go. She gets that on every show. Yet, so as I say about him, he went away. He went off the subject of SRA when suddenly he met with the Met Police. So God's messenger has a price, allegedly, by the looks of it. But what was really disturbing, and I think a lot of people, even that support him, not a lot, but a few that support him, found this distasteful when he was interviewing those women who were claiming that they were. Well, actually, it's questionable whether they were claiming that they were victims of a SRA or whether he put it in the head. Because one woman definitely was saying to him, because she said she was telling him, no, there was no satanic abuse. There was, he kept on saying to her, there was. In his mind, all abuse of children was satanic.
That's what I think. Like, it's satanic, but like even doing it, like it is like got satanic roots, but like it like worship, like you know what I mean.
That's what
in a circle. I know.
It was.
He makes it seem like a film, though. He lays it out like a movie.
Mm.
But
But
it's I like
it,
that.
but that started as saying that was distasteful, and there was one. You had this woman on, Julie or Jackie or something like that. Her name was lovely woman, and she's trying to tell him her story or her life events, and he's just continually staring into the camera. He was more interested. He wasn't interested in her. She's telling this horrendous story of her childhood, and he's just goggle-eyed right at the camera, looking at the viewing figures, and that's all he was focused on. And you could see you looking at him, as if to say now and again, "Why aren't I getting any response here?" Cold, no emotion, just how many people are watching this,
He's
and
right
that's
shifty, man. He
oh,
looks shifty, man. His eyes, bloody hell. Like you
mm,
can tell he's like he's like got the one of them like he's got one of them faces, man. You know.
no, what
Nah,
you
because
mean?
people have that kind of face, like, and they look like them lying about everything, man. But like, he does, man, and he's
I know. He just what it is. He's got religious mania. He thinks that he's been sent here, and if you notice, he was very pleasant about Mark Rowley, the chief of police, who he's been forced to say this, he's been forced to say that. Now, most probably, it has happened with Mark Rowley. I agree with that. He's getting told he must say this, he must say that, but that's because Mark Rowley helped him out. And this is another thing which I said years ago. I don't know about, them saying that, Muslims, which is going on now, we have to protect the Muslims and all this business. But the hierarchy of the police, the top level of the police are all evangelical Christians. But they
are
don't
they? What's
they
are the
don't publicize it.
Jesuits?
No,
Jesuits are they?
Jesuits are Catholics.
Is that the same thing then?
No, Jesuits are Catholics. They a
So the
Catholic order, the Jesuits.
evangelical, like, that
Evangel
American, like
yeah,
evangelical.
evangelical. In other words, it's some you get some extreme ones. That's where you get the
Yeah,
fundamentalists
yeah,
coming
yeah.
out evangelical, but not all of them are, you know, bizarre. You get some very moderate.
Definitely Masons there as well. Because they don't just belong to one group; they belong to many like groups, like and clubs and stuff.
Well,
Especially the ones at the top.
this is debate you do get, and there's nothing stopping a police officer if he wants to be or she wants to be a Mason. There's nothing stopping them. But as I always said, they don't need to be a Masonic lodge. They're their own Masonic lodge. The police themselves are their own Masonic lodge. They're very powerful. They're very,
Sorry,
they're
I'm laughing at
very,
that.
they're very incestuous in the way they carry on with each other, and I mean that in business wise. So I'm very. I say you don't hear that. I was on that. I was in the force. I used to see what was going on. And there definitely was this huge push when I was there in Mayside Police to try and put forward the Christian agenda, if you want to call it an agenda, or an evangelical. I was the one, that's why they hated me. They started mixing with this place called River Force. They got a pastor in, a force pastor. And so I just said, no, I said, this is totally unacceptable. I said, you're supposed to be equally saving every member of the public. I said, no matter whether they're atheists, whether they're Hindu, Muslim, whatever. I said, you can't have a false pastor and not represent anyone else. And I said, you can't have this going out trying to convert people to Christianity. You're not a church, you're a police service. That's what you are. Well, they had to then diss that and stop it. They had to get rid of the false pastor, because I went to the Liverpool Echo and they reported on it. I said, shouldn't be happening. I said, in the police force. And they had to make the religious thing that they've got multi-faith. They couldn't make it Christian or one, because I said, that's not fair. Because this is it. What it is, Craig, the danger was I wasn't just hitting out at Christians. I don't care whether you're a Christian, a Muslim, or what anyone is. It's up to them, as long as they live the faith that they're supposed to be adhering to. Now,
but that's where it goes down. I like when the Muslims, man, because if they do that, which a lot of them want to do. I'm sorry to interrupt, but like the Muslim thing, you know what the problem is? Like, the Muslim religion is different from every other religion. Shall I tell you why? Because it takes over every aspect of your life, your banking, your family, your solicitors. It's everything what you can eat,
Yeah.
where
But
you
what I'm
can
saying,
do. It's,
goo. Do you know what? Is that the way? I've noticed you saying that. Is that how they pronounce goo in Birmingham? Goo.
go away,
It
go away,
sound,
go.
you say it really. It stands out when you say that goo. I've noticed, Shan. I thought, oh, is that a
No, it
Birmingham way
does
of
mean
pronouncing it?
go. It means go, man.
Yeah. Oh, I know it
Go
means
away,
go,
man.
but I was just thinking, does everyone speak like that? Isn't it
Black
terrible? I'm
country,
speaking to you.
it's just black
I'm
country. I'm
talking about
racist.
you.
And,
You see, I'm talking about you as if you're an exotic person because you come from the black country. Oh, an exotic person is on my show.
I know, I'm from the black country, man. When
But
when
yeah,
it sounds exotic, but what it means, you've got fucking coal all over your face, man, and you've
yeah.
worked to the bone. That's it.
But yet, so there was this. I'll say I didn't care about what they were, but there was this definitely push in Merseyside police, and this is how crafty the police are. They were keeping it all very, very quiet. But the danger in this I saw, Craig, I said it's bad enough having police officers who are right up with their own importance and think they can do anything. But what you don't want them doing is expecting police officers to believe that they have been put there by God, which they do believe. They think God has appointed them there. And it's like, you don't need that. So therefore, when they do something or say something, they can never be criticized because it's God making them do it. And that's why
Yeah,
I'm tipped
sure,
off.
man. With all them gay police officers, that don't sound right, does it?
All. How many do you think there are?
Gay police officers,
Yeah, how many do you think there are?
loads.
There isn't.
There
Are you
is.
looking at the gay
No.
pride marches?
Yeah,
Well,
yeah. Am I wrong? Go on.
they
Tell me
are
I'm wrong.
not
I don't
the
mind.
vast. Well, wait a minute. The vast majority of those officers, and I've said this for years again, on those gay pride marches are not gay or lesbian. They're not LGBTQI.
They're
What it
just doing
is,
the act. Like,
they're not acting. They're not saying I am gay. The gay pride marches when the police go on there, that's just police officers saying we support the LGBTI community.
big
You
up
don't
for
have to be
London.
gay. It's like if you go on a black pride march as a police officer, say there was a black pride march, you wouldn't have to be black. You're just there in support. So when you see them walking down, very few,
I'm on
and I
about the
mean very
dancing
few,
ones, man. The dancing ones. That's what I'm
you'll
on
get
about.
know what to do. You'll get a couple of officers that will be gay, a few officers that will be gay. But in Merseyside Police, let's put it this
It
way:
don't matter anyway. But like, I think most of the top ones,
no, they're not. I can assure you,
I,
they're not. You might get the odd token one, and it is a token one. That's
I mean, like, what was she? What she was a dyke, or what was her name
stop
before?
saying that word. No, be careful, Craig.
Is that a bad? No, is that a bad word?
Of
Is it?
course it is. You can't say
Oh,
words like
I
that when
thought
you're
it
on
was just
YouTube.
a like
No,
playful
it's
thing
not.
nowadays.
It's
All
not.
right, I'll always say it again, man.
You get people that do get up to the top, but they'll be the people. It's like you get a lot of black officers. How many black and Asian officers have you heard have gone to the top police forces? Merseyside had the highest ranking black police officer there, Pat, whatever the name is. And yet she got right to the top of the force. The minute she left the force, she said, "Oh, I faced racism." And I thought, no one would go to you, love, with any complaints about racism inside the Merseyside police. No one. Because there's a
The
reason why she
problem,
got
innit?
to the top. There's a reason she got to the top. They don't
No,
get
but
to the top by
some
exposing.
coloured people, like they like if they like can use their race, they will use their race in this climate. What's happening in the country? They'll
But it's
use it
just
against people.
what it is. I used to say, and not only in the police forces, I used to see this in the theatre as well. Know this. You get like, oh, what we're going to do, we're going to have a diversity awareness, and you get someone
Yeah,
with
inclusion.
inclusion.
DEIA.
And you're doing it again.
Am I?
This you just talk right over me, don't you? You have you'd have the diversity inclusion, and what they do is they pay someone to come in. And I used to say these are professional gays, professional black people, professional Asian people, professional disabled people. It would really what they're selling is the fact of the gay, the black, the disabled. And I said there's something not right about this. And it was in their agenda to make everything sound like, or most things sound like that it was bigoted, because there'd be no need for them unless there was bigotry, and they found the bigotry. You know that way. Know what I'm saying, Craig?
Yeah, it's like what they've done with the Holocaust, man. Them trying to make it like you can't criticize anything about it. You know what I mean? That's
Well,
what they're trying to do.
it was a pretty horrible thing. Don't start questioning the numbers or anything, Craig. Please, God,
No, I
don't.
ain't about that. I'm not on about that. Like, you know how like they fight for that, like not to be questioned and stuff like that. But like
Yeah,
when you've got like what you've had at the Olympics with that that boxing match,
yeah.
that's where you gotta draw the line somewhere, man. Yeah, and like
As
the people in power, they ain't drawing it.
I know, but that boxing match, they're saying she is a woman.
She ain't a woman.
She is a woman.
You know. Shall I tell you what? You know the boxing, right? You know the
Hmm.
that she got banned by the boxing thing. Shall I tell you why? Because they just
Why?
check what your chromosome is. They just check your chromosome, and if you're a man, you can't fight a woman. Simple as that. But the Olympics, for some reason, they allow it.
But have they confirmed 100% about her chromosomes?
It's a man. You have a look
Have they
at it.
confirmed it?
Yeah, that's why she
But
got banned from the boxing. That's why she were allowed at the boxing thing to compete in
what
world
I heard
boxing.
that there was great confusion because she was born apparently a female. Paul Smith saying she was a woman. She is a woman
Nah, man. You seen that?
because yeah. Well, what you've got to understand. Do you remember the Russian? You won't. You'll be too young to remember. There used to be Russian runners, and they were like big cars,
Yeah, they
horses.
was
They
on
were.
steroids. That's why.
No, they weren't on steroids. Those
No,
ones. They were
it
women.
was a
No,
scandal. It was
no,
a
wait a
scandal,
minute,
or the Russian
Craig.
thing.
I tell you what, Craig. Before you start jumping in and making it just a longer way and route to it, let me finish what I'm saying. I'm not talking about the steroid one. Did you hear me saying you won't remember this? Because I doubt you would have even been born at the time.
Was it in the
So
60s or
yeah,
something?
you see, if you listen, you might just not jump in. I don't have to
Oh yeah.
spend ages.
No
But
worries, man.
what it
I'm
is,
on the page, man. I'm on the
fucking hell,
page.
you're doing it again. Anyway, what happened was the they were well built and all this. The testosterone levels were through the roof, but these were women. They weren't men. It's just that you can say intersex, but this boxer isn't intersex as such. But there was this big hullabaloo saying that they were at a disadvantage because they were intersex, and so they had them, even though they were women, genetically women, they had that much testosterone in their bodies. They were equivalent to a man. Actually, to me, they looked stronger than any man.
I'll put my side in a minute.
Go on, you say what you want to say now.
All right. Have you watched the match? She is a woman boxer, that Italian girl, right? And she knows, man. She got punched a few times, man, and she knew that nah, this ain't fair, and I'm gonna get really hurt here. And I just said no,
Yeah.
I ain't doing it.
See, it's a difficult one. If they can confirm that she was born male or she's genetically male, yeah, of course it's unfair. They shouldn't be doing it.
Man, if it was a woman against a woman, man, the boxer in the first round wouldn't just say, "Nah, I ain't doing that." No, it just wouldn't happen, man, unless they had an advantage. I'm just using common sense.
Mm.
And there's another case like UFC, not UFC, or it was mixed martial arts, like Fallon Fox, I think her name was, right? Transgender, and there's like wore like hadn't gone through any transition, and like broke the orbital bone of a competitor and a woman. You know what I mean? So I don't believe in it, and neither does Sharon Davis. A lot of people do they? Sharon Davis,
Well,
like
I
the
don't.
Olympian.
I'm someone that doesn't think that that should be allowed. Not if someone. I mean, let's put it this way: even when a man does transition, you've got to
I
be
know they still got
aware
it, man.
that you've still got an excess of testosterone. Also, your muscle build and bone build is going to be different. So it's an unfair match. It's definitely So this is what I've said. This is why you've got to be careful of terms like transphobia and Islamophobia and stuff like that. Because what it
Yeah.
does, it stops debate and labels you as being bigoted if you question it.
Yeah.
But I've always said, Craig, there's a big, big difference between someone being bigoted and going out to cause offence and speaking from hatred, and someone that has concerns and wants to debate those concerns. And I can't think of it being more vital that you discuss it. It's that half the planet or more are biological females, and the banned or intimidated from not having a say on a subject like that, which affects every woman.
The
It
the
affects
more the
everyone.
population increases of transgender people, right? They should have their own like sports. That'll probably happen. You know,
If there was enough, yeah. If there was enough, most probably
with
will.
the
But
raise
there'll be a
the
kick
minute.
off
That's what I
there.
mean.
There'll be a kick. What it is, I tell you what, Craig Fo said this, it will even out sooner or later because they'll realise these are businesses as well as anything else. So people stop watching them. If people stop
Yeah.
being interested in them, saying, well, it's unfair, so I'm not watching it. I can assure you. Do you remember what happened over the movie Snow White, which is being delayed again? Now, Snow White, there was a huge kickoff. Disney had to go right back to the drawing board and start getting it right. At the end of the day, if you start hitting the profits, that's when they'll change. But people have to stop watching these events or going to these events and saying, not for me because I think it's unfair. Then they'll change. It evens out eventually when it hits the bank balance. That's when it evens out.
I found something funny, but I can't think of the actual like joke or anything. But what it was doing, it was like saying like, you know how them like replacing like white people with black people in films and stuff. Imagine if it was like reversed. You know what I mean? You had like somebody white playing Samuel L. Jackson or like in
I
a
know
film.
that. Well, I've said this before. It happens. It's happened, Craig. It's happened. It used to look at all the old Egyptian films, and they were all played by white people. So it's a white people have been playing these parts for quite a long time. I've been taking on Oriental parts and all this, so it has been happening. It's just now it's opening. They say no, we've got to open up, and which is fair enough. I mean, you can't just have someone. Only white people being in the best roles.
Yeah.
That's what I think anyway.
Yeah. Like it depends on the actor and the story. Like that's what I think. But going back to, I was watching this thing like about like the dirtiest actors from all time, like from the old days, like Clark Gable, man. Apparently he had dentures, man, like and the stuff, like you know, on Gone with the Wind.
Oh no, that was
Nobody wanted to work with him.
Clark Gable.
Him, yeah.
Yeah, he had halitosis. That's what it was. I don't think he had dentures. If I remember right, he was
He did.
halitosis.
No. He lost all his teeth, man.
Oh.
But I bet the dentures back then, I bet they made him out of like something horrible, but are they? Because now we tell you a problem what they make him out of. Like, I don't know what they made that. And the women was on there as well. What was her name? Bette Davis and Liz Taylor wore it in. Just used to smell of sweat and perfume, apparently. Elizabeth. Was it like Liz Taylor in What Happened to Baby Jane?
No, that was Betty Davis. Betty Davis.
And who was the other one?
Joan Crawford.
That's the one. Yeah, she like just used to like sweat man out and just put perfume over it for like days of shooting.
Well, what she'd do, she'd have to have, because the other actors used to complain, but because she was such a major star, they had to put up with it. She used to have the set freezing cold for her makeup to set. So they said they had to work in these absolutely frigid conditions.
Yeah. They used to get to bed in it, man, to save time. Like some of the major stars, like back in the day, the women, they just used to like get to bed in the makeup and get up in it, man, to save time. They do well for the skin.
Yeah. Which film? That film scared me. Oh, Baby, Whatever Happened to Baby Jane. It's a brilliant.
I know, it's brilliant, man. I love that. I watched that as a kid with my mum, like, and I'll never forget the first time I watched it because that was the real impactful part, like when I first seen it because I was younger.
Or when you're younger, it's like because Bette Davis comes across as this
It's like a
horrendous.
horror, man. It's like a
Yeah.
horror. Eh?
Did you hear what she said? She did her own makeup, and
Yeah.
she didn't realize until she went in to see the cuttings of that day's shooting, and she just seen this horrendous white mask with black eyes coming out of in the camera, and she said, "I knew that I got it right." She said, because I looked absolutely horrendous. But you know the wig she wore? This is the funny thing. They only found this after the film. That wig she wore, Joan Crawford had worn that when she was younger in another film. So she was wearing Joan Crawford's wig. But yeah, fascinating film it is.
I
So
love the thing about that Joan Crawford, man. I wanted, like, I used to be really cleanliness, like, focused on
yeah.
the stuff in the room, but, like, her own, like, hygiene, they cared about it. With, like, everything had to be clean around her, though.
Well, I've never
It's
really
mad.
thought that she was unhygienic herself. She might have
What,
sweat.
I typed in the most, like, thing, you know what I mean, of, like, movie stars or something, man. It just popped up on my feed. There's a few of them that talk about, like, a few
Because if
men
you'd actually
as well.
watch if you'd ever watched the film, Mommy Dearest, you see it every morning. And she used to say this, that's why I can't see that she never washed herself or anything. Because she used to do the hot and cold water method. And what they do, they get really hot water, what they used to do in those days, and put it on the face, wash the face. Then they get ice cold water and stick that all over the skin to keep the skin toned. And so she used to do that every single morning with cologne. So I don't know where they've got that from. That she might have sweat. I don't know. Maybe that's why she
That's
really
what it
wanted
was.
to.
That was the thing. Like, I just like, babe, when I was on set, I just used to like put loads of fucking expensive perfume. Sorry for the swearing. Loads of perfume on
Mm.
and it was the smoke. It might not all be true. I just thought,
Oh, I
like,
know.
because you
Some of
like
them
them old people, them things, do you? That's the
they
real.
do
That's
sort
what I
of.
thought about it.
They make things up. Betty Davis said that they used to make a lot of things up about her. She said about her war, and she said she didn't like people, but as she said there's no
Nah,
point
you know what they said
going
about
to
her?
war.
It just smelled like fags all the time. That's all they said about her on it.
Yeah, because she was a chain smoker.
80 a
Oh, she was
day,
saying,
man.
yeah, she was a chain
80
smoker.
a day.
Mm. Well,
And look
smoking
how
then,
old I live still, man.
yeah, but look at the condition she was in. How many
I
strokes
know,
did she have?
but
She had loads of
that's mad.
strokes. But
What do you
amazing
think
actress.
about Decca anyway? Shall we have a talk about what's going on in the
Yeah,
country?
let's talk about Decca Wecker. Yet this going off and being arrested. Well, he's walked. He must have known that he had that many people disliking him that someone would report him. And he was
I
coming
know.
out with stuff that was really strong. I mean,
Yeah,
this
he was
wasn't
being
just like
really
he was out and
like the
out.
Muhammad thing. Did you see the Muhammad thing? Like when he
Yeah,
was on about the name Muhammad, like he was like more or
but
less saying everybody named Muhammad.
yeah, but don't
No,
discuss it
I'm saying what
because
he
yeah,
said. The
it
guy
doesn't matter
the
if you
guy
say what he
called
says. It's
Derek
still in
Gordon
effect.
Heggie, alleged crimes, was in
You've got to.
court,
Hey, well, wait a minute.
ITV News.
Yeah, wait a minute. Don't repeat what he said because if you repeat it, you're guilty of the same thing yourself. That's the
Well,
law. I've
so
often said this to
did they
people.
arrest? Is
You can't.
that why the news people they'll say because they could get arrested?
Yeah, it's like if you get fined anything. I used to get sick to death of telling this to the people on Twitter. They'd find an offensive image that someone had posted, right? Let's say for a child or something, and they go and RT it to the police tagged in. Look into this, and they'd say, "Stop doing that, or else you're going to be, you're going to be arrested yourself." It's called distribution.
Is
You
that
can't
you
even
or is
send
that
it.
and sorry, is that like Emma Cockrell? Is he
How do you mean?
in the chat? Is that
Oh
you?
no, that's Chris Hartley. He's had that account for a long, long time.
All
Chris
right,
Hartley.
Chris, man. I'll get on with him, man.
You can
Don't
get on
step
with
on
him,
his
but he's
toes here, man.
warped. He's got an
I thought
obsession
it
with
was
me.
there.
No,
Nah,
that's
I thought it was
Chris
there,
Hartley.
man.
Well, I don't want to talk
Sorry,
about the
Chris,
loser
bro.
because one day he'll do something and I'll be able to get him where he needs to be in that section. So, which is the best place for him because he's got an unnatural obsession with me. unnatural, which he can't get over. So he does things like that to try and,
That,
say, I own a part of you as he's playing with himself. That's all I can think it's about. It's a sexual thing, because why would you be obsessed and go on about someone you've never met? I never knew who he was until he started that. Everyone knows. Well, you can ask Uncle Bobby what it's like. That's why Uncle
maybe I
Bobby.
can be I can bridge the gap, man, and you can bury the hatchet, man.
No, I've got no interest in having any communication with that man. And as I say, one day when I get the chance, he will be sectioned, because that's what he needs. He's a very damaged individual. But let's move on from that. So Decca Heggie, so he's been in prison now. So he'll be out of order for quite a while, I'd imagine. Because he's saying, isn't he, he's a journalist, a social journalist. That doesn't matter. You can still be arrested for racism if you're a social journalist. It doesn't matter. It doesn't.
A
They think somehow
journalist,
that,
man.
a
No,
journalist.
just think about what he does though, and he's made a few videos walking down the road out of breath, man, and sat in his bedroom, and he calls himself a journalist.
Yeah, that's it.
Sorry.
They won't buy that. They'll just laugh right in his face. And even so, even if he was deemed to be a social journalist, the fact is, if you come out with racism as a social journalist, we just said that the reporters aren't repeating what he said, because they can be arrested if they repeat what he said. That's where you've got to be very, very careful. Very careful. And people don't realize that. People say, I didn't say it, they said it. But what you're doing is you're promoting it by saying it or repeating what they say. You're promoting it.
I'm
That's
sure
why
Decca was on the news before this. He was doing a mental health thing on ITV or something. Do you remember that?
That was
So he takes his first rodeo, man, on ITV, I think. That's probably what they've done it for, because that is in their archive. You know what I mean? So it's like Medic.
Oh, what it is, he that's what started is running with Humble Dryer, because Humble Dryer thought, oh, this is an amazing man, he's doing this. Then Humble Dryer starts to find out the background about him, and that's what started Humble Dryer on this case, because he found out that this mental health ambassador was quite a dangerous man behind the scenes. So that's what kicked all that off.
All that come off Facebook, though, Dave. Like, I don't know anything about that. I was in that space. I don't know anything about it when all that was going off, man.
Yeah. But you just have to. But he won't be able to. He won't get away with this. I'm a journalist. I don't know why he's even trying that one. God, journalist. He's trying to be Tommy Robinson. All that he was using Tommy Robinson, and he's that thick. He didn't realize that he was taking it too far.
Yeah, I said in one of my, he could have not monetized it, man. Like, just sharing his Tommy's stuff. If he wanted to be a patriot, right, and not like gain anything from it, if it were for money, could have just shared it, like.
Yeah.
But he couldn't, could he? He had to monetize it, man. So like, he played with fire, man. He got burnt again, the same as he got burnt the last time, and he will keep getting burnt, man.
He knows people are going to report him. He knows that. So why he did it, I don't know. But the thing is about him as well is I can't work out how his channel hasn't been taken down.
I know he's still there. You can still watch his videos. So that seems weird to me.
That's well weird. That is. I can't work that one out. Oh, he's going to be arrested for put these posts up, but at the same time, he's going to still be live on YouTube.
Or maybe them leaving it up like so, like it causes more damage, so he gets longer in jail or something. I don't know, man.
Yeah,
he could ask his family. He could ask his family to delete it for him on a phone call, couldn't he?
Well, he could do, but they'll have collected the evidence. I think what it wasn't the videos, was it? It was the community posts he was putting up. He was.
I don't read any of them.
Oh, they
was
were
he being really racist in them?
Not off the things he was saying. But Scotland's going near freedom of speech. Now, what it is, freedom of speech is a precious thing, but when you're going out and you're trying to inflame a situation, which he was, you could tell that's not freedom of speech. It doesn't get covered by that. But
Don't get me
what's
wrong, man.
happened?
I don't think he should be in jail for that at all, man.
I
100%, man.
do.
Freedom of speech all the way. No, I don't, man. Because
I
like,
know.
if
No,
when
you
you start,
do.
where
You
does it
do.
stop?
You do believe in restrictions on freedom of speech, Craig. You do. And I tell you why. I've never met anyone that says that freedom of speech should
Oh,
be
I do, I
no
do, I do.
borders.
I've got one thing. I've just thought of it, man. Like talking about kids, like in a certain way in
Exactly.
public, and that, like,
But if you believe in total freedom of speech, you can't make that distinction.
I know, yeah. You just, like, just that's only one thing, though, man.
It
Anything
doesn't
else?
matter. You can't have one thing can't be just the exception.
I
It's
know
like you
you're
could.
right. You're right,
It's
man.
like
No, you beat me on that one.
it's
I'll
like
go
when
around
people
for
go
that.
on. You know when you've got hate preachers who preach hate on
Yeah.
against British Army and all this business. But guess what? You'd have to allow that to go on as well. So
I
that's
don't
why I
mind it, man.
say no one actually does. Go on, Will.
As long as we, like, people of this country can say what they want as well. They can say what they want.
See, there's a way to say things as well. You can have, and this is what I say, you can have a debate
Yeah.
and discuss things. But if someone's going way, way out of the way just to be offensive, which Decker was, well, that can be seen as trying to elicit a response from someone.
Did you
And
know
at the time,
council tax was haram?
it's what?
Haram. Council tax is
I've
haram,
got
man. So is the
I've got to
TV
say,
license. They don't do it. It's against their religion, man, to pay council tax.
well, they get someone else to pay for them, don't they?
I don't know, but
It's the same with
100%, man.
it's the same with car insurance. They're not supposed to have any kind of
Yeah,
insurance.
they can't pay interest on anything, man.
But
It's like
it,
forbidden.
okay, no. Do you know what, Craig? You'll have to just actually hold your breath and learn that when someone is
Go on,
talking,
I'm gonna
it's
have a
only
drink and a couple of
polite.
toast.
I'd hate to see you in Japan. I'd hate to see you in Japan because if you were in Japan, they'd absolutely just kick you right out doing that. In Japan, you have to wait for the person to finish the sentence before you know what they're talking about.
Like, even like Jordan Peterson, like, they interrupt each other, man. So like,
It doesn't
ain't nothing there.
matter. You're talking to Anne now. Anne is an important person, not like those two nobodies you've just talked about.
I know,
I
man. Who's
demand
Jordan Peterson, man? Anyway, who
who's
the hell
that?
is
A
it?
nobody. Has he got as many subs as I have? I bet he has.
Nah, man,
Anyway,
nah.
moving on. Moving on. Yeah, see, I've forgotten what I was saying now, and it was some profound statement. I was saying a profound statement I was making then, and you just made me forget it. It could have
It's
changed the
about
world.
Decker, anyway.
Yeah, well, we've said about Decker, haven't we?
Yeah, Decker's got his pecker out in Durham.
Oh. But I'll pull JDP.
JDP!
Oh, just as he was getting started, his little clickbaiter ran away and got put in prison. Sad, absolutely sad. Anyway, what's this? If you're a born male, you should know. You know what gets me about this thing, though? You know this that boxer, but the male, female, or whatever. No, I said to people because they were going on, I said, boy, get this, Craig. She was born with a vagina. Now, I always heard people saying, right, if it's got a vagina, it's a woman. If it's got a penis, it's a man. End. And I said, no, that's not what defines a man or a woman. What defines a man or a woman are ovaries and testes, not penis or vagina. So I said to him, so if you're saying that a vagina definitely says that someone's a woman, even though they could be intersex, I said, that means that you have to accept she's a woman. Even if she's XY, she's a woman because you say if it's got a vagina, it's a woman. See, I'm proved right. They've just
because intersex is its own thing, like it's its own bracket, like apart from like male and female, innit?
Well, you're always going to be more one sex than the other. You won't be.
No, but I think it's fair to say it's like a different bracket, eh?
Oh, it's a different. What it is in some countries like India, I'd be considered a third sex. You wouldn't be considered male or female. You'd be considered.
You'd be a goddess, wouldn't you, man?
Oh yeah, used to be Rome, ancient Rome, if you were into sex, you were considered
Yeah, I've heard of
a
that.
demigod. So I should be worshipped, really. I mean, people should be coming on here, worshipping me, saying praise to me, because apparently what I can do, according to the ancient
It's
Romans, I
also
can
very
cure your
demonic,
cancer.
and it's very
No,
demonic
it's not.
also.
No, it's not.
Baphomet,
Shut your
man.
face.
No,
Shut your
all you
face.
need to do is
Shut your
point
face.
up and
Shut your
point
face.
down,
Shut
man.
your face. Shut your face. Shut your face. Right.
Look at
You should
Baphomet,
be,
man.
shut me. Shut. Don't use that term. That's another hate term. You see, you're doing it again. Right.
No,
Now.
I thought I'd mention it because John Wedger's like in the building.
Oh, no,
Eh?
Joe.
He
But
might not
actually,
be
the
here, but
Baphomet.
he's here in spirit, man.
The Baphomet actually wasn't male or female. The Baphomet could have been, and this is what they think it was. The
Androgynous, man.
but it doesn't mean androgynous. It's just that the fella who designed the famous statue decided to make it androgynous, but there's nothing before that which suggests that the Baphomet was androgynous.
They believe it, don't they?
Thing was originally androgynous. Was either male or could be depicted as male and female, and that was, believe it or not, Aphrodite.
Aphrodite, man. I was going to say that, man. That's where hermaphrodite comes from.
See, well, it comes from hermaphrodite comes from Hermes and
Aphrodite.
No, not Aphrodite. Who was it? It was Hermes and
Appendicite.
Wait a minute.
I like to party.
What was the name? What it was? He went into a river. I won't go into it. It's too long to go into. But it comes from that. It just means that two.
Linda Lusardi.
Oh, stop it! Stop it! God, you're
Pepperami.
old.
It's a bit of an animal.
How do you know who Linda Lusardi is? That's bleeding
I
years ago.
I used to hide a boner, man, when they come on, man, when I was younger, watching the game shows.
Oh, isn't it? I do apologise to my listeners out there of the vulgarity of my guest. Please.
We got Linda Lusardi, man.
God, that's years ago. God,
yeah, I am 39, man. I was watching when I was 6, man.
You must have been about 2 when she was on. My God. Or even younger. That's going back in the past, Linda Lusardi.
When I was like a young lad, my pin-up girls was Katie Price and Kelly Brook. Then was my two, and Jodie, what's her name? Jodie Marsh, man, as well. That was my 3 favourites.
Trampy, in other words.
Nah, just like
there's nothing glamorous
in the paper in the page 3 in it, man. It was still going when I was working when I was 16. So I worked for a year and a half when I turned 16. So I was like 17 and a half when I left.
Well, Katie Price, I wonder if she'll actually be sentenced this time, or if she'll get away. She knows something on someone.
You know why I like Katie Price, man? Because like Shag Gareth Gates, man, and he was only a kid, he was only 16, he? So I thought, like, you could get you got a chance of getting with her, man. Like some young man.
God. But it's about time she was taken to task, that one. She's got away.
They took his virginity there. Imagine that, man, losing your fucking virginity to Katie Price.
Stop it. Look, here we go, you perv. Percy perv.
Okay, a perv? Well, I was a young lad while
you're talking about Daisy. Look, let me put it this way. Anything to do with procreation or anything to do with up and down fun is filth. And it's not allowed on my lives. Filth. Pure.
You know, it's not biblical.
Feel ashamed yourself. Feel ashamed yourself. It's filth. Absolute filth.
Yeah, man. I'll go and confess my sins when we're finished, man. Trust me.
T-Gun, aren't I right? Such things are filth and should not be discussed in public. Isn't that right? T-Gun will agree with me. Also filth.
Yeah, I bought another DVD and all, man. I bought the 2 It films.
The 2
and the class, all of them. The Stephen King It films. I got the retro one, the 1991, and I bought the new ones as well.
Oh yeah, the clown thing.
I love them films, man.
Well, guess what I'm going to see next week?
Wolverine and Deadpool.
No. I'll give you a clue. It's a re-release of an old film.
I don't know. I don't know.
Coraline. They re-released it in the cinema. Yeah, it's getting re-released in 3D. So
The cinema ain't like it was when I was younger, man. You could just go in and they had like a load of films to choose from, but now you go in and they've got like a few, like just, you know what I mean? Have you
yeah.
had that? Because, you know, when you go like on the spur of the moment, like,
Oh, I know. But I remember the days when they used to run continuous. So you'd have to be careful when you went in the cinema because you might end up watching the end of the film that you were going to see. They used to have on
yeah,
a
the night
roll.
time.
It would just go on and go on, go on. They'd just play it continually. So you had to time it just right or you'd spoil it by seeing the end of the film as you walked in there. But yes,
Well, the good old days, man. I wish they could
yeah.
get back to that, man.
Well, again, have you been seeing X screen film yet?
One of them IMAX things.
No, not IMAX, the X screen. We've got one
No.
near me, Cineworld. It's the one where you have a big screen in front of you, then the sides of you have the screen, so the film is surrounding you.
Oh, so you've
Uh,
got your own private, like,
no, it's just that you're sitting there. And I think it was the Philippines it was first done. Screen at the front, then you have the screens at the sides. You can go see Alien, the latest Alien film, for £5, and when they have these bargain days, you can
yeah,
go see it on X screen for £5.
the bargain days, man. When I was a
Yeah.
kid, right? So I tell you, it was called the Saturday Club, man. And you know how much it used to cost? You couldn't pick what film it was, but it was for kids, like, and it was £1. And they showed
We
like a really good kids film, man.
we never had them in Liverpool, believe it or not. I can't remember them at all.
Yeah,
Can't remember
yeah.
these kids shows. It's strange, but we didn't. But yet, so I might go to see the Alien one as well on this new screen.
I prefer Predator to Alien, man. I've
Well,
always had.
what put me off, I couldn't. I mean, the first two were great. The original Alien, remember going to
Mm,
see that, the premiere of it, which was
yeah,
fantastic. And then the second one was good,
that's
Aliens.
what I mean. Them
Then it
two,
went
I know
cack.
what you mean about the others. They're very good. The others.
And that one, was it? I get mixed up. Prometheus? Was that the one
Oh
where
yeah,
they went
yeah.
back? Oh, what a load of cack. I couldn't
That was
work out what
proper
was going
one.
on. I was just so annoyed. I thought, what the hell is going on with this film? I couldn't work it out. I couldn't work it
Oh,
out. And I didn't want those funny looking aliens. No, what were they called? The navigators. I didn't want them to
yeah,
look human. I wanted them to be those weird things that they found in the ship in the
yeah.
first one.
The Xenomorphs.
No, the navigators, the ones that they found him in the first ship, and he was mummified, and they see the
Oh,
hole in his chest before they find the eggs in the
yeah. I
first
don't
one.
really like. I watched a bit. I don't watch it all the way through, man. Have you
Oh,
watched Black Phone? The Black Phone with Ethan Hawke.
no,
That's a really good film. That is. He's like he kidnaps children, man, and he kidnaps this one kid, right? And there's a black phone in there, and it's broken. And all the victims, like, they keep phoning him, giving him like little hints, and he has to escape, man. That's all I say. It's brilliant. I bought that
oh, I'll have to look out.
Blu-ray as well.
I'll have to look out for that. See what's that. Oh, and then Christmas. Apparently, Christmas Day it's being released, which seems strange. The new Nosferatu film,
Yeah,
which people are really getting ready for, because it actually looks good, the new one. So I thought I might go to see that as well.
that's just reminded me. Like, I was already thinking of it, but have you seen the Terrifier films? The
No.
third one's coming out of that. And that's coming out of Chris. It's like a Christmas one, I think. Is it Art the Clown?
I've seen what?
Art the Clown. On one of my
No.
shorts, right, I'm wearing like a mask with it's like an evil clown.
Oh yeah.
That is out of a film. That is.
Oh, I've
And
seen that before. I've
yeah,
seen
the
that
third
before.
one's coming out. The third one's coming. It's Christmas one, man. Weird.
I'm sure that they said Christmas Day. I'm pretty sure that Nosferatu is being released, but it does look good the way they've done it. The bits that you see, and it's getting millions of views on the little previews of what it's going to be like. So I'm looking forward to that because I love not the original Nosferatu, you know, the silent film. That was
Shall we
absolutely
discuss the elephant in the room, man?
Eh?
You want to discuss the elephant in the room?
What elephant?
Emma Cockrell.
Is there any point?
Yeah, man. Because like I went on Paddy's live, yeah, just like left a normal thing in the comments. I'm blocked, man. Blocked
Oh
for
yeah,
comments
he's blocked
anymore.
me.
Ever since he's been in his ear, man. I bet it's told him also.
He
Yeah,
blocked me ages ago. He
it's
starts
in his
asking me
ear
on his
now.
show. He asks me on his live and he goes and bleeding blocks me. I thought, what's the point of that? What is the point of that?
Because I won't praise Shadow Boxer and like especially as I bet has told him all sorts that I'm working with the fucking police and everything, man. Has. I can just
No,
imagine him, man.
Paddy will just block you. That's what he'll do. He'll just block
Well,
you.
that's what's happened, I think, man. That's what's happened.
Yeah, he'll block
Like he was
anyone.
asking me to come on like before and stuff like that, but
Was
now
he?
Emma, yeah, I went on there before. He wanted me to come on with Shadow to like have a laugh and that, but I did, and I took the piss out of Shadow, man, and that didn't go down well. Then I went on again on Paddy's live, and Shadow jumped on, and he weren't even there when I jumped on Paddy's live. I was talking to Paddy, and now it's all gone downhill now because I said, what? If her writes gardening books, that victim of Shadow Boxers, right? What difference does it make? You know what I mean?
Oh, exactly. That's what I
right?
said. It doesn't make any difference. It's
Horror,
just
writes horror. It writes horror. So what does that mean? It wants to get great? Does it? I don't think so.
What
you know
it
what I mean?
is, he's doing what he did to Tony Baker. Tony Baker was innocent. It's been proven. You'll see the clip on my channel. He's innocent. He's all this business. Then he turned on Tony Baker. Then Tony Baker was guilty. Well, that's the future for Shadowboxer. If he falls out with Shadowboxer, Shadowboxer will be guilty. It's just that he thinks he can make coin out of Shadowboxer. He's imagining these big fighting events, which will bring in loads of money. He'll have them on his farm. But they're not happening because Shadowboxer's a bull crapper. And he'll wake up to the fact that these fights never happen.
Should I tell you something else? Dekaregi, man, he was doing a way better job setting up fights and stuff than the Shadowboxer, man.
Oh, yeah.
Like, he was actually putting on events, man. And look what he's done, man. He's like piled 4 tires in 4 fucking corners or something, like, and put some fucking rope round. Sorry for this, but you know what I mean? Put some rope round it, and he thinks, this is going to get me to the big time. And then if he did somehow get to the big time, then going to go, you did what? You did this, did that, and then it's boom, gone.
And also, his personality would not go down well with professionals because he thinks he's being zany and all this.
The Thailand video with a conviction, man. That's
what I mean. It will destroy him. He won't get there. I've said people get themselves cancelled before they even start out, and he's one of them. So all he's got now is to be controversial, be loud, sit there screaming at the top of his head and yelling. And this thing with Jimmy Justice is just all planned, and these things that they're doing, they plan it behind the scenes, then they come on and do it.
Yeah. You can tell.
But they've said things, Jimmy Justice included, said things that he'll never be able to get on professionally because they won't touch him. And especially now that women's boxing has become so popular and it's becoming more and more of a respected sport, and people are seen as being equal to a man's sport, men boxing. They're not going to have someone that said things like Jimmy Justice has about, victims
boxing is a very professional sport. That was my Chris Eubank impression.
That was your Chris Eubank. I used to like him, Chris Eubank.
Boxing is a very professional sport.
He was good, him. I used to like him. I did.
Yeah, I loved it, man. Nigel Benn. Oi, them was some bangers, they was.
But this is it. But how are you, Fake Phil? If they want to
start, Fake Phil. How's it going, bro? How's it going? we had our little tiff, didn't we?
Anyway,
Bless him.
what is Birmingham like now? Is it after these?
I
First
live, I
three?
live, I live, I live about 10 miles away from there. Thank God. Like
Because that was
I've
a
always
bit.
got, I've always got on with the people around here. But like, I ain't stupid enough to know, like when they become a majority, they'll start
Mm.
changing things in your government. They're already doing it with the Labour Party. They took over that. You know.
Well, thank God. All that I'm going to say, thank God for Elon Musk.
Yeah, yeah,
That's all
man.
I'll say. He's the only
Yeah,
one. We really need someone like Elon Musk, because I've always said this, right? To go on about the far right, there's also the far left, and the far left is just as fascist and dangerous as the far right.
yeah. It's
Just
the
as.
more so because they want to take everything, your speech, your views. They want to take your freedom, basically.
Well, this is it. It's that's why I stay away from that side, because I think no, you've always got to have the option of debate. If someone's, I mean, if you've got people doing what happened, like smashing up mosques and rioting, you
Don't
can't
need
have
them.
that. There's no way you can have that. There's
No,
no
because it'll
way.
backfire. It makes you.
It'll
It
backfire.
makes you look bad in
And
every
now,
sense of the word.
but what it is now, Nigel Farage is getting signalled out. Now, strange enough, they haven't started trotting out the death of Joe Cox, which is very strange. To say, no, it's dangerous, this. You know the way her
Yeah,
her sex offender husband was trotting her out when things started kicking off, to make a political point. Suddenly, when people are outside what they think is reforms head office, suddenly they're not saying, oh my God, look what's happened. Politicians, it could be another Joe Cox. She's only
oh,
trotted out when it's for
yeah,
the left. Odd that,
yeah.
isn't it? Very,
It's
very
like
odd.
just it's like a political weapon. That's all it is,
Yeah,
right? But like with the fires that's gone on at that hotel and that's
that was
wrong.
disgusting.
That's what I don't want to see, man. You know what I want to see? I want to see the army rolling up, man, and
No,
emptying the hotels and then whacking them in a big plane, man, and dropping them somewhere else, man. That's what I want. I don't want them killed.
but
You know,
this
I
is the
just want
thing.
them gone,
But
man. I just want them gone.
those people that you were talking about in the hotels. No, that
Yeah,
attacked the hotel. Sorry, not the migrants. We're talking about the people the rioters. Do you
yeah.
mean John Wedge's brothers and sisters?
Yeah, I see that bit. Yeah, yeah. I know.
Oh, he'll never live that down. His brothers and sisters, he was calling them.
And he calls them Christians. Like
Yeah.
he's calling everybody a Christian there as well.
He thinks the far right are Christians kicking off. No, they're
A
not.
lot am, man, a lot am. But I think it's you got to use Christianity though, yeah. What else have you got, man? Because like them using Islam, that's the only thing we can use. Because that's our views, like the Ten Commandments, like that rules your life. The Quran, it takes everything in your life, man. How you wash, how you where you everything.
Yeah,
Trust me.
but what you've got to
It's an
yeah.
ideology.
Well, Craig, it's a theology. What it
It's an
is, right?
ideology.
It's
No,
a
it's got nothing
theology.
on
It's a
any other
theology.
religion.
It's a
So,
theology.
is Christianity a theology?
Yes.
No, no,
All
no,
religions
no.
are theologies.
Nah,
It's an
that
interpretation,
don't tell you. That don't tell you what you can do with your money, who you can marry, and everything, man.
which doesn't. The Bible
I know.
doesn't.
I mean, the marrying thing, yeah, the Bible does do that. But like, apart from you call pay interest if you're buying something. That's haram. That's like, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
And
but
like, yeah,
what you got? Let me
Muhammad,
just get
right?
this one thing out. Just
No,
let me
I've
get
got to
this.
finish, and you can talk
No,
for
because
ages.
what you're
Muhammad,
doing, I
right?
want to just point one thing out, right, Craig, right? Not every single Muslim is following Islam. I can tell you now, I've met many, many Muslims, and they never even go to the mosque.
Well, they ain't Muslim then.
They are. Do you go to church every week?
No, well, I don't call
Well, you're
myself
not
a
a
Christian
Christian
either.
then. You're not a
I don't
Christian, are
call
you?
myself one. I don't call myself
No,
one.
but any Christian that doesn't go to church then is not a Christian according to what you're saying.
That's even worse. With Islam, man, They have to pray 5 times a day. So if
What you
they're
do,
doing
but
that
this way
and
you've got to
going
be
to mosque,
this way you got to be careful. Not every Muslim. You're making it sound like being a Muslim means you've got to follow Islam. It doesn't.
I know it do. I ain't stupid. But
The
enough
vast
of them believe.
majority.
Enough of them believe. How
Well,
comes every poll that comes out, right? Every poll when they ask people anonymously on the street, right? Oh, do you believe in stoning women and stuff like that for
it was nice.
adultery? It always comes up like, you know what I mean? They love it, man.
Well, how many people do then? Seeing if you looked at these studies or these,
In Islamic countries, they still do it, man.
you mean that the Islamic countries, when we're asking them, they're answering the questions to us. I know
No,
they
I'm on
do
about
it.
stoning women. I'm on about stoning women for cheating on their husband.
And where did they get that idea from?
Come on, have you got a gotcha?
The Old Testament.
Yeah.
Not Christian, the Jewish
The
Old
Old
Testament.
Testament is like full of barbaric like behavior, man. How are you gonna like? But the New Testament, man.
Oh
I mean,
yeah.
look at the now. Look.
Are
You
you
got to
circumcised? Hey, well, wait
compare
a minute.
Muhammad to Jesus. Compare
Hey,
Muhammad to
well,
Jesus. Jesus says
don't start. Don't start. I'm going to have
forgive
to
all
mute you.
sins,
I'm
right?
not having this. I'm not
Muhammad
having it.
says,
I'm not having it. Behave yourself, Craig. If you want to destroy your own channel and get it taken off, please don't go get my channel taken off. I've asked you on here because I like you. I don't want you to start running your mouth off and start getting me in trouble for having your own. You do it on your own channel. Don't do it here. So I'm going to unmute you now.
yeah, all right. I won't mention it, but like when comparing historical figures.
Well, we're not going to
Where
compare
does it stop,
historical.
man? Where does it stop? See, it's horrible, isn't it?
What's horrible?
That we can't even discuss historical figures
Well, we can,
and
but
what
it's
they
just
did
that.
and their merits and their downfalls, because that's what all it is.
Yeah, we can discuss it, but the thing is, you tend to put it across in a way that can come across very, how can I put it, very offensive when you say it now and again.
Well, I
So that's
thought
what I'm
it was
saying.
the religion of peace, and I'm just comparing it to like Jesus and Muhammad. That's
So,
all.
Jesus, the Muslims see him as being a prophet. They'd never slag him off. They'd never diss him or
I know they
call him.
do. I know this. I know this. You
Because
know
to
why?
them, he
Because
was,
that props their religion up. That's why. And they say, like, there's no Muhammad in the Bible. They say, oh,
of course it
Abraham and
isn't. That's
Moses.
because
They put Muhammad and Abraham and Moses in the same.
just listen to me. Muhammad was hundreds of years after Jesus lived.
I know.
Oh, well over 1,000 years, wasn't he?
I know.
After,
But why were he
Jesus.
prophesied? He should have been prophesied.
Well, was Jesus prophesied?
Yeah.
Where?
I don't know exactly the thing, but yeah, I've heard that, like, yeah, the son of man,
What
the
is
son of.
Jesus? Yeah, Jesus very cannily. Work this one out. You remember when he went into Jerusalem on an ass and they were waving the palms at him, saying the prophecy had been fulfilled. Remember if you read that one, Palm Sunday?
Yeah, I'm just listening. That's all. I'm still.
Well, they did that, and that's supposed to show that he was the Messiah. But there's one problem with that people have twigged. Jesus was a rabbi, they know he was. So he would have known the Old Testament back to front and all that was in it. It wasn't just that he found himself with an ass and rode it into Jerusalem. He specifically asked for one. It says that he asked for an ass to be brought
Come
to him
on,
so we could
and don't
ride
be
in.
cheeky. You could have said donkey.
So what happened was he was actually, and people have said this, he was actually making a statement. Now, if there was prophecy saying that, if someone walks into, let's say, Birmingham Hippodrome, dressed in a big red hat, waving a cabbage around in the air, and that means that they are the Messiah. If I suddenly came in a red hat, waving a cabbage around the air, would that mean that I was automatically the Messiah? Or would it be
You know,
that, oh, what are you trying to pull here?
it
So
depends because, like, I
he
know if there was a history before of somebody looking like you, like coming with a red hat, like in a book, like before you'd done it, it
well,
might be like very
Jesus,
intriguing. You know what I mean?
what Jesus did, and that's why they turned on him, I think, in the end when they realized what they'd done. It was obviously he was mimicking what the prophecy would be. So he did it consciously to say, I'm the Messiah. Then when he
Well,
was arrested,
yeah. Do you believe like in the rock where the rock got split and all the water come out? Do you believe in that?
I don't believe anything in the Bible. I think some
I
historical
do.
events
I
happen.
do. This is what I mean. I am a full-on Christian, but I do believe in like there's some truth to that. People don't just write like why don't they just write something else, man? All that look how far it's travelled this story.
Yeah, because of Constantine the Great. It
Yeah.
wouldn't be
And
even
don't get
remembered
me
now.
started on the days of the month, man, because it's all out of whack. You know, New Year and New Year's Eve. New Year should be when like new plants start to grow spring.
What has that got to
That's
do with anything?
because they've lied about everything, man. Our past, like what they tell
How
you.
have we gone from talking about the Bible to
Because
flowers and
it
plants?
matters. It's like all linked. It's all
God,
linked.
how's it linked? So how
How
does
is it
that?
linked?
Just please, Craig, explain to me, please. Or either I'm
Count it,
weird,
man. Use it.
either I'm
Use it.
weird or you're weird. So I want you
The
to
eighth
prove that
month.
I'm the
The,
weird one. Tell
the
me,
eighth month.
explain now how Moses banging on a rock to make water come out of it is connected to days of the month and something about flowers. Just tell me. So I know that I'm the weird one. How are they connected?
I was talking about something else after, man. It's my fault. Your brain can't keep up, and I apologise for that.
Oh, oh, blimey. But yeah,
Anyway,
go on.
Mohammedan Jesus, man. You know,
No, yeah,
no.
no, we're not
So
going to go
that,
into
oh,
it.
you saying that proves that like he's the bad guy.
Stop it, stop it, stop it. This is why you have to be careful, Craig. You have to be very, very
No,
careful.
but like,
Right?
how can all right? I'll put it another way. How can the Bible, right, give from all forgiveness, right, forgiveness, but and then go straight to
Is
ah,
it? Is it?
killed? No, the New
Eh,
Testament, the new, the
Is
new,
it?
the new,
Is it?
the
Do you
new,
know who
the new.
mentions the? Shall I tell you an amazing fact which you don't get told? And that's why it's good to read the Bible and not just
This is
listen
what
to a priest.
This is what
This
man.
is
The
why
Bible
it's just.
don't say, man, all the trees I'm going to call out and say, oh, there's a.
Nice, here we are. Yeah, I have to do this. I'm sorry, people, because it goes on for hours because he won't let you finish the sentence before he jumps in on you. Now, what I was going to say was, when you're talking about that, if you actually look at it, don't listen to what your priest, vicar, or person who's going around talking about Jesus is saying what's in the Bible. You have to read it yourself. And what you'll find is something quite shocking. If you look who mentions about the torments of hell, most, guess who it is? It's lovely, forgiven Jesus. The reason you have this Jesus' forgiveness is a modern invention. It's contemporary. Before it was all, oh, you'll go to hell, this. But then, because of the Reformation, because of the Enlightenment, people started moving away from the churches and started losing the faith. The churches panicked and thought, how do we get people back in? Well, people didn't want to hear all brimstone and you're going to hell and the fires of hell. So what they did, they concentrated on the little parts where Jesus said, oh, the Lord forgives and all this business. But what they missed out was that wasn't the whole of the message that he was giving out. So there we are. So I got that out, people, didn't I? I got that out.
Yeah, no
Go on.
worries, man. Like, I get that. But like, when you've got to compare the two, I mean, how does like the Bible treat women? Because I don't know 100%, man. I just know
But
that it ain't like that.
why do you think you never had? It's only a modern phenomenon that you have female preachers.
Yeah, I know. It's very
Because
like they don't want female but that's the only thing, eh?
because if you look at the Bible, if Jesus is your example, they were all men.
Yeah, there
So
was one. Well, that
that's what
makes
they were
sense,
going by.
though. That
And he
makes
used
sense.
to, and he used to.
Because you know why? You know why? Like, men are the givers of life. That's why.
How'd you make that out?
Well, a woman is just like a fertile ground, and we.
Oh, ladies, I apologize to you. You're just fertile land. You're just the sod of the earth.
Yeah,
Go
but
on,
we
carry on, Kate.
create it, and they deliver it, man. We help create it. They help create it. But like, you know, maybe that's got
But
something to do with it. I say, I'm thinking, I'm trying to put my head into like people thousands of years ago. Like you was
but
just doing like why they wouldn't let women priests. I'm trying to think like they would.
it's because women were considered less than men. That's why you never hear the women's names in the Bible. It's always the men's name. This one begat that. Joshua began that. Isaiah begat this one. It's only the men you hear. You don't hear the women because women were considered nothing. They were just there. But who talking about the wedding? Who came first, Adam or Eve?
Both at the same time, man.
Well, the Bible doesn't say they came both at the same time.
Well, go on then, tell me.
Well, the Bible says that it was Adam, wasn't it? Then Adam was lonely, and so God
Yeah.
created
Oh,
one.
yeah. I knew. See, I did know this, but I'm too lazy to
But
think at the minute.
the
But like,
fact
tell
is,
me, he did
but,
create both of them, no day.
but he created Adam first. There wasn't supposed to be an Eve. So
Exactly. So
anyway,
that's why men. Oh, that's why men and first. Then that might have something to do with it.
but we know now with science that actually the first human would have been a female, not the human as we see a human now would have been female. All life, you started off as a female in your mama's womb. All life starts off as female and then acquires the male chromosome. So if you don't get the Y chromosome, you're going to be a woman. So Eve, that tells you that Eve must have been
No,
first, not
like
Adam.
I'm sorry, like, but women, like, and it sounds bad, but it's broke down society in a way. The family, they've broke down the family, the government, the news, films, everything has
Why?
for the white folk. The others are pumping at them left and right. You know, are they?
What was that last thing you said?
The Bible can be trampled. It can be like run over. You can do anything to the Bible these days. But there's certain you call, and I ain't gonna like mention it, but like you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
So that you know, there's an old saying to people like, if you want to know rules, yeah, right, find out who you call criticize.
Well, yeah, there is. That's why I say we've got to be careful with this Islamophobia because Islam is a theology, it's a belief system. So if you've got a law protecting it, that means it's a blasphemy law. And we're not supposed to have blasphemy laws in this country. We're a
Them
secular
outlaws, this
country.
is what I mean. And there is
So
Sharia law being carried out in this country.
it shouldn't happen
Exactly.
because
But they
it's a
don't care, do
two-tiered
they?
legal system. But I
Mm.
agree with you there, and I agree that they're just using this Islamophobia to make it that you can't question Islam. You can't question Islam. That means it's even joke about it or whatever. It becomes a blasphemy law because you don't have a Christian phobe. Yeah, do you? You don't
I
have
like watching
Christianophobia.
Christopher Hitchens, man. I like Christopher Hitchens. He's
What it
pretty
is,
good.
he can say some good things, but at the same time, he annoys me some of the things he says, and he's a bit too up himself. But he does have a valid point, and you've got to have that. If you have Islamophobia, that kind of talk will go, but you need that.
Hang on,
You need
sorry,
to keep
Auntie.
it.
I'm sorry. Welsh girl. I was talking about thousands of years ago. I'd have thought. I was talking about today. Sorry. When I said like,
Well,
oh, women were just fertile ground, because that's all it was back then.
in
The
other
men
words,
went out and
what
fought.
he was.
They provided the meat. Like the woman stayed at home, had
Did
kids. You
she?
know, that's what it
Did
was.
she? Did she? Did the women stay at home?
Yeah,
and
man.
look
A
after.
lot of them.
Did they? No, they looked after the kids and used to have to work with the kids hanging off the backs.
Yeah, and I had
This
to
is a
feed
myth
them
that
as
women
well,
sass
man.
at home. Just here we are, John. Tell you now,
Sat.
women
You
always
know
had to
what? There
work.
was at home feeding the fucking. You know what I mean?
They used to
I know
work.
what I
Women,
mean. You're going to
Jewish
make me
women
feel
work.
bad.
Do you know the Bible? Jewish women worked. They worked. They worked in the fields. They did all sorts. Believe me, they worked in
Yeah,
the
on the
fields.
farm, man. But
Yeah,
did they
that's
get to
working.
battle?
That's actually called working.
But
It's
they
not
called it
like
both. They was given the time to like look after the kid as well because you know
no,
what I
they had
mean.
to carry the kid on the back.
Was you there, Anne? Was you there?
Well, we know. Look, it wasn't that women. This idea that women would just sat at home all day waiting for the man to come along with with the meat for the day that
What,
he'd speared and all
thousands of
that. That's
years
a myth.
ago?
That's a myth.
Thousands of
Women
years.
had to. Women had to. They had to have the babies on the backs and work. Why do you think the mortality rate was so high back then? People had to work themselves to the bone.
Just because you've said they're doing it in Africa, you know what I mean? It don't mean that, like,
They
because there
did
was
it.
a lot more men than that back then.
Jewish women are renowned, always have been renowned for being tough, hard workers.
I know.
Tough, hard
That's
workers for thousands of
why
years.
Hitler they kill them all, man. He worked them to death. That's why, because them
But
good workers, man.
but what I'm saying to you is, don't go by this myth that women just sit and this is the myth. Even in England, you got this the
Myth.
myth that the woman at home looking after the kids, waiting after dinner when they got home. No, those women had, if they were the partners were wealthy, they could, but the vast majority of women had to go out to work. They couldn't afford not to work.
This
They
has
died.
been happening. It's like in writing that they're like the powers that be, the shadow government, and there is one. There's a world shadow government, man, and they've been against the family for many, many, many years. Trust me on it, man. Do your research.
But again, Muslims are known to invest a lot of importance in family. So if the Muslims are the ones that are taking over, why is the people in power wanting them to when they're the ones that see the family as being vitally important?
Exactly. Like I don't think, like, for instance, it is a bit racist, but like I don't think, like, have you got a whole street? I don't think the whole street should be allowed to be Muslim, and then the next one, like, and then the next one, because that's gonna just it's
Well,
borders, like.
it stops people integrating with each other, which was supposed to
Yeah,
be the idea. It's failed. In other words, it was supposed to be this melting pot where everyone would get on happy and loving and all that. But as you say, same in Liverpool, you usually see that it's a whole street or a section of street or area that is one demographic, then another one, then another one. We have Liverpool 8. Now, that was always where you'd find the ethnic minorities. And now you find the Muslims, a lot of Muslims are living in the same area. Now, in the past, the ethnic minorities were more or less pushed into that area. It wasn't like they had a choice. But I think what is the congregating together because they know each other, they know each other's traditions. But what that does, it stops people getting
what
together,
did
which it
Tony
does,
Blair
you're right.
say, man? What did Tony Blair say? He said he was going to rub the right wing's nose in diversity. That's what he said.
And it just hasn't happened anyway. That's it.
He's
But
done it.
anyway, I'll start winding up now because I've got stuff to do. But it's great to talk to you, Craig.
I think you got to wind down now. You're after that. Come on.
I
You're
know
going to wind up, haven't you?
I've got to do all sorts, because I've got visitors tomorrow. So I've got to get everything sorted out, get it all nice, pretty, and looking all
So
lovely.
if I say Andrew going 3 times, you'll disappear. Andrew going, Andrew going, Andrew going.
Nothing
Well,
makes
it's still the
me
day work, man. Day work.
safe.
I
So
want to see
anyway,
that film on Blu-ray, man.
what are you?
Beetlejuice, man. There's a
I
second
don't
one
like
coming
the
out
second.
either.
It looks the second one is just. I don't like the look of it. It's just the.
They've
It's a
still got
repeat.
the same. They've got Winona Ryder though, and
It's just a repeat of this first one. You can tell. It's going to be the first one. You see the characters in it. You see the look of it. It's like, why have they just made it exactly like the first one? They could have made it look different or make something different about it. It's just the first one rehashed.
You know the dad in it, the original, right? They can't get him back because he got caught with child porn, man. Like the original dad. He was in Ferris Bueller as well. That guy.
Yeah.
But anyway, I'll let you go.
So anyway, I will say goodbye. What are you going to be doing next anyway? What can we look forward to from Craig?
I don't know, man. See how it goes, man.
You got to keep the pressure on John Wedger. Got to keep the pressure on John Wedger.
I might do. Well, I've got to keep it like, because he'll try and take me down where we like, so I gotta be careful. What? Before we go, he, you know, them comments I left. He reported them as
Did he?
because it come up like that.
Oh, he's a little tosser. He is. I'm sorry, but he is. I've got the right to say that. He doesn't want to be reminded of his past. That's it. He thinks he can come back. He's took a break. Now he's come back. Now he wants to be this. I'm the voice of the common person. I'm the voice of the common person. I'm the one they can rely on. So we'll be on all these shows. But the fact
just thought of a brilliant name for him. Because, like, there's a guy going around, an ex-copper who I really like, Peter Blexley, man. John Wedger is like Peter Blexley off Wish, man.
Peter Blexley Wish. But he's always on Sean Atwoods. He can't block your comments on Sean Atwoods anyway, because Sean Atwoods always using them. Oh, we have John Wedger here. Oh, it's like, go kiss me backside. But anyway, thanks for coming on, Craig. You take care. Look forward to your videos, and don't be a stranger. We'll have to talk again sometime. Because I like
just ask, man. If I'm free, I'll tell you I'm free, and I'm free.
That you keep me hot. You keep me adrenaline running at times. It's like, oh, he's going to say something. I know he is. He's going to say something. But anyway, to everyone in the chat, thank you for joining me. And until next time.
See you later, man. Big up the chat, man. Love you all, man.
And thank you, Kelsey, for being a love. And what shall I leave it all with? I'm just looking for something. Here, I'll leave you with someone who's been a bit of a topic. Where is he? Where have I put me little? Here we go. Let me put this on. This is for JDP. Good night, my lovelies.
But 1 minute you're good, and the very next minute